my memorable moments as a musician would have been the first time I was playing with Paul McCartney in studio. And within 5 minutes of shaking Paul's hand, we were making music, playing together in a room, and we did some song, and I was singing a little background part in the control room. He was like, "Oh, let's go sing that." And the two of us got on one microphone to sing, you know, on this record. It completely felt natural. It felt like we'd been old friends, and we were working on new music, which I think was one of the greatest things about that. Is it's not like I was auditioning, having to play, you know, strictly a Ringo part or strictly a, you know, Denny Seiwell part or whatever. It was me getting to be myself. So he got to see what I am, as opposed to who I was trying to be, you know? In order to adapt to all these different guys that I've played with, like, you know, Sting, Clapton, Seal, Paul, it's about, again, losing myself, like not, I can't show up with my own agenda. And, you know, and that's hard for some people, you know, because we're all artists and we all want to express ourselves. But again, like, I see myself as being in service. So, you know, I can't show up with the same intensity or energy from one gig to the next. You know, I have to figure out where that person's comfort zone is, where their music sounds the best. And there's a lot of different factors. There's the front of house engineer, there's other band members, there's all kinds of things that you have to adapt to. And I think the only time that there can be problems is if you're so self-concerned and so self-obsessed that you can't look past yourself to actually realize that you have to interact and adjust to the situation at hand. When I was 10 years old, I'd already been accompanying my dad, who's a bass player, hanging out with him in studios, and I just fell in love with the whole idea of it, you know. And he would jam with me all the time, which was really cool. So the two of us, like, he would sit down and he would show me a little beat to play, and then he'd pick up his bass and we'd, you know, play for hours. And that was something that just, that always happened. You know, when we play now, we still look at each other like, wow, where did that come from? You know, so we still are learning things about each other that way. What I love about being a drummer is that it's a way for me to get to listen to other musicians play. I mean, listening is the most important thing in music on every level. That's always what I enjoyed, because I would always get to listen to a guitar player, listen to a bass player, and hear what they were doing. And I felt like music is all about communication and playing with other people. And I think that's one of the most important things that you could do. You know, it's important to, yeah, get your equipment, do what you have to do, but make sure to invite somebody over and jam, because that's like the greatest learning you'll ever get, is by jamming. Specifically, the things that I look for are tonality. I want a really big sound. I want quality as far as craftsmanship. You know, I want to make sure that it's something that can take a beating, because, you know, this is not a delicate instrument. When I come down like that, it can withstand the pressure and all of that. DW drums, in my opinion, are some of the best drums ever made. They care about every single detail about what goes into this drum set, down to the, you know, the tiniest screw. They want to make sure that it's something that will last, something that will not interfere with the sound of the drums. And they, you know, again, they look great and they sound great and they last forever. I do think that playing music is transformative. It can change mood, it can alter emotions. You know, first of all, it can change my mood and change my own emotions, let alone what it does to the audience and to the people listening. One of the interesting transformations that happens when I play is getting lost in the moment. What ends up happening when it's really firing on all cylinders is I'm not physically in control of anything, and I'm not mentally aware of it. I'm actually, in my head, I feel like I'm up in a corner somewhere watching what's going on and observing what's going on. And it is like an out-of-body experience in that way. It feels like life, you know. It's a way to express yourself. It's a way to communicate and connect with others. And I don't know, it's really the greatest feeling in the world. Yeah.